Technique, toughness, and truth from a Michigan legend, captain and All-American. Hale Media Group presents Inside the O-Line Room with Rod Payne.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of Inside the O-Line Room with Rod Payne, where I go over week to week the performance of the offensive line for University of Michigan. Let's dive right in. This week we'll be covering the Purdue game. Just going to share my screen right here, get ready to go. While I'm setting this up, you guys, my take on this game was need to improve. All right, it was a 21-16 final. I'm sure everybody thinks we should, as well as do I, think that we should have had a little bit better consistent performance from this offensive line, considering they were going against a 2-6 team. But let the record show, let the 1st and 10, first game, I'm going to run through some of these plays just so we can get through most of this. Pretty good run action there. See here, 2nd and 5, got 5 yards, first down. Okay. Little screen pass, hit for a 1-yard loss. The one thing I think I've seen that was pretty consistent here is, I think what's consistent is inconsistent pass pro. And when I say inconsistent pass pro, look at the left tackle and left running back here. Okay, and let's see if I can highlight them. Running backs in the backfield here. I'm just gonna work around with my trusty system here and show you guys what we got going. Running backs here, left tackles here. Now what I should see is, okay, so right now, this tackle should kind of step up and engage him right now. Look at the depth he's at right now where he's not really engaging him, allows for that defender to take another angle. He misses on the punch. Okay, left tackle, you can see here completely whiffs on the punch. And the problem is he gave the indicator to the running back behind him that he was going to block him. So not only did he whiff on him, but then he decides not to stick with the block, or I shouldn't say he didn't stick with the block. He did, but he got whiffed, and the running back is late putting his head down against the same defender. So, this is the type of stuff that when you look at the performance of a quarterback and you say, okay, how and why is my quarterback either consistent or inconsistent? A lot of things come down to the reality of how does that offensive line really block? And you can see here just a simple linebacker twist with an end slant, and we're in trouble. All right. At this point, I think I know as a former center, I know Brian Greasy and Tom Brady and some of the guys I snapped to would not, they'd be barking. They would definitely not be too happy with that blocking scheme there. All right. And we're talking, first quarter. Let's look at here in slow motion. Okay. You can see the running back. All right. Let's pause that. You can see here where, number 54, the right tackle. I don't like using names. I just use numbers. Completely whiffs on that guy. Same thing with the running back. Now, we got some incredible running backs, but it is absolutely clear that we need a clinic on how to really front up and pass pro. All right. That's going to be the indicator for how consistent we are providing protection for a quarterback. I think is special. I think we need to give him more. I definitely think we need to give him more. All right. 1st and 10, a 4-yard run play. Pretty good production here. Good pocket. All right. Make the throw. This is one of the things where I say, hey, look, in the reality of this offensive line consistently inconsistent, one of the things I like to see, especially in pass pro, is kind of a pocket setup. All right. And when you establish a pocket, when you establish your feet, here's what you got. You got a quarterback that's in a great position, delivered a throw. He's balanced. He's throwing off his front foot instead of his back foot. Hold on, let me clear that out there and get my little fancy dancy pen. All right, all the offensive lines are back to the quarterback. They're fronting their man off. We get a little bit edge penetration here, but here's one of the things where that's a classic position for a quarterback to see his throw, make his throw, and get it on point. However, the ball's just a little bit off. So I think, if we can consistently give him protection, I think that's one of the things that would probably get a little bit more consistent with him. All right, next play, left tackle, left guard, twist pickup. Not good, guys. Not good. Okay, let's just call it what it is. Look down here at the left tackle. All right, here we got here, and I'm gonna point out these guys here. This left tackle should be smashing, should be stepping up and flattening off this defender this way so that he's in a position to pick up. He's in a position to pick up this guy coming around here. But what happens is that he takes him on full, all right? He doesn't step up in the line, and you can see now where the guard, okay, you can see now where the guard and the tackle are on two different planes trying to block a guy. So this defender has essentially split these two offensive linemen, and now look who's free coming around the edge. And again, another situation where your quarterback within the first 3 or 4 pass plays has been pressured probably 2 or 3 times. All right. And again, make the throw. All right. This is where, I can hear some of our coaches in the past, Cameron, telling guys, hey, look, you're this open. All right. You're throwing off your front foot. You're scrambling. You got an open guy. Make the throw. Let's make the throw, kid. Come on. All right. Got to be consistent. All right. Good pass action. Make the throw. This is another, when you see where I said make the throw, what I'm basically saying is, okay, kid, you got to complete this. You got to execute that throw, and that's something that's going to be solid. That's going to be consistent moving forward. Okay. A good run action pass. All right. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Come on. Come on, Bryce. Let's go, kid. All right. Let me say this. I love Bryce Underwood. He's an incredible talent. We got some work to do with that kid. He's a freshman. He's just turned 18 years old. Totally understand what's going on, but we definitely need to step up our consistency overall on offense, especially offensive line. All right, 2nd down and 11, good run, sustained blocks. What do I mean by sustained blocks? Let's check that out. All right. Here we go. We got left tackle, left guard. I'm sorry, tight end and guard. Tight end and tackle. Let's get in there. All right. You can see here 77 and tight end. I believe is that Loveland? What's his name? I'm not sure, but I'd like to see these guys more fronted up on these guys. All right. Let's look at the fullback coming through the hole. Let's see what he does. There you go. Come on, keep your foot drive. Let's stay on top of it. All right. I love this right here. I love this effort by this guy. This is what I mean when I say you got to continue to run your feet to a block. Get him off the pile. All right. That's solid work by that kid. All right. Let's go back and see if I can freeze frame some solid positions. Look at that. That is what you call a solid blocking fit protection. Now just stay with them. Keep those hands inside, and let's go ahead and that's going to rack up some pancakes for Sunday morning. All right. What do we have here? Let's see. All right. Running back must do a better in pass pro left tackle. Who are we blocking? All right. Let's take a look at the running back first. All right. Running back and left tackle. All right. First and let's see. It's still first quarter. All right. It's 2nd down and 6. 3rd and 6. All right, so we're in a situation where we got to convert the 3rd down, and we got to whiff. All right, we got to whiff on that running back. All right, whiff on that DN. Or let's see where that guy came back. Okay, linebacker blitz, so he has plenty of time to read him. All right, and you can see the right tackle does a better job here. The right tackle does a better job of what I wanted him to do earlier, flatten that defensive end's rush angle across the line of scrimmage. But right behind him, we just can't have that. All right. And here's another one. All right. It looks ugly. I know. I've been in plenty of film sessions where, man, I wanted to be 2 feet, 2 inches tall and hiding underneath my seat. But, this is why these kids make the big bucks, why they're given these positions as starters, because we don't expect this. All right. And the situation you have here is, we're in the first quarter and this quarterback has gotten nailed. He's gotten pressured twice and he's made some errant throws. Let's see how this throw ends up. All right. Again, throw just a little bit off the money. I, as an offensive line, would like to tell myself that, hey, if I gave this guy all the time in the world and nobody was in his face, I cannot possibly have done a better job. But if I can see where as a left tackle, I could have fronted that guy off, or as a running back, as you saw, not whiff on that guy. These guys got to start looking at it as their responsibility to help this quarterback develop a consistency of what to expect from his offensive line. All right, great run, great technique, 58-71. Okay, let's look at some of the notes here. All right. I always like to look at these things as far as fine protection. Look at that. All right, 58, good job. 51, we're here. All right, we're in our position. 4. All right, and here's what I mean when I say fine work. Let's watch 54 here. I'm gonna highlight him, all right, from an offensive line standpoint to say, okay, here's what I'm looking for when I say if we follow this guy, all right, oh, I'm sorry, I actually highlighted the wrong guy. Let's go ahead and let's just keep it moving. All right, I'm gonna do this and delete that, and I'm gonna highlight the backside tackle. Okay, and what I'd like to see him do is as he's playing flowing front side, okay, you can't get this guy. I don't know if I looked it up. We can cut within the line of scrimmage. So get this guy on the ground. Get on your horse. All right. But nonetheless, if you miss him, don't keep chasing the guy this way. You're chasing his back. The best you can do is come up with a penalty at this point. But what you can do is now, and I'm going to try and draw this, what you can do is now turn your head. All right, turn your head front side for what may be coming backside or flowing over the top. All right. But nonetheless, whenever, or like I said, he could have been leading this play for glory. All right. On a poster board, blocking downfield for a touchdown. But yet and still, he doesn't keep his eyes up the field. Now, running backs, this is where Michigan's running backs are as far as toting that rock, these kids are really good. All right. They're playing with an almost entire freshman line, 3 freshmen on the line. And, I'm showing some consistency. But when we do block guys, when we do get in guys' face, hey, these running backs have the ability to really pour it on to people. All right. This was Michigan's first touchdown. Enjoy the show. All right. Let's see if we can't go back. I like, obviously I don't have Phil Bromley, Michigan's videographer, for as long as I've been alive. But look at that. Look at that. All right. Instead of getting a shoulder on him, all right, man, drive both those hands in his chest, control your man, and go ahead and finish with a pancake. All right. And again, you can see here where if his vision, 54's vision had been up the field earlier, this guy wouldn't even had a play. He might have had an incredible block on that. All right. So we're looking for those extra things from the offensive line standpoint to really get these guys consistently playing ball. All right. Let's look at the left tackle. Great job. Look at that. All right. But keep those hands inside. Keep driving. All right. Let's look at the center and left. All right. See, I don't like this angle here. All right. This is a good angle, but this right here, he's got to fight to keep his head front side. Let's take a look at it and see how. There you go. There you go. Head front side on this defender, head front side on this defender. All we got to do is lower our shoulders and keep running, keep on this angle. And you can see when it's done right at the point of attack, it's done right. It's a good play to have. All right. That's a good play. All right. 1st and 10. I think this is the 3rd series or so. All right. These running backs do a great job. We got bottled up there and had to bounce it outside. All right, 2nd and 4. one-on-one pass pro 58. All right. Sometimes you may have a time with all, including the tight end, you got 5 out of 6 guys that make the block. All right. That do show great technique. And then that one guy, complete minus, may affect the play. That's the one issue of offensive line is we work as a unit, not as individuals. Conversely, on defense, everybody on defense could totally whiff and have a missed assignment, and you still have a defensive back that comes up with an incredible single play coverage for interception. Well, it doesn't work that way on offensive line. We work as a unit and we break down as a unit, even if it's an individual breakdown. And you can see here what I mean when I say 58. All right, and let's go ahead and point them out here. Hate to do it to you, kid. All right, I love you. Mom loves you. Mom needs you to protect that quarterback because that kid is going to be the one that gets you the bacon. All right, good punch inside, but he doesn't square up to the guy. All right, he doesn't square up to him. And again, now we got a scrambling quarterback who we paid $10 million not to scramble, but more to throw that ball. Look at this. This is a great set. All right. You start out with a great set. I wish those feet weren't happy, a little wide, but your punch, you missed your punch. And let's give credit to this defensive line. He punches away, rips that hand up, and now he's got vision on the quarterback. All right. And this is not what a quarterback wants to see. All right. If we could take a picture of Bryce Underwood's eyes right there, it would be as big as deer. All right. It's the whole point of deer in the headlights. That is what a quarterback does not want to see or I'm sure he doesn't want to recall that as he's on the plane trying to take a nap coming home from the game. All right, man. Again, we scramble. The more we put quarterbacks in position where they got to scramble in pocket protection, there's a good throw there. The more we're in a position to seeing that quarterback get hurt. And that's something that no offensive lineman would want on their tombstone. Here lies a disabled quarterback because of me. All right. Right guard, right tackle, stay on the double team. Here's what I mean when I say we got to start looking at really pounding these guys. All right. If you can see in here pretty good. All right. Right guard, arrow to the right guard, right tackle. They got this Purdue D lineman sandwiched in there, shoulder to shoulder, great position. And they're going to be fighting to this front side linebacker. Well, why would any one of those guys come off the block to get a linebacker when the linebacker is not a threat right now? And what we were taught by Les Miles and some of our great offensive lineman coach like Jerry Hanlon is to drive this guy. All right. You got 2 guys here. Drive this guy right into the feet of that linebacker. All right. Push him into the feet. But what we do is we get one guy get off early. Okay. And he doesn't really have to. All right. And we got we're leaving a secondary guy, leaving a guy on that block. And that was a great tackle, great hit by that safety. That safety came up and filled that void. That's what you want to see. All right. Let's check this out. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Here's what I like to see. Double team this guy. Drive his butt into the linebacker's feet. And let's play ball. Let's play some ball here, guys. All right. I want to see that fullback with those hands inside. I don't like that. I don't like that chest bumping, that chest bump tackle, chest bump blocking. That's not good. We got to control guys with our hands. It's a great throw to the quarterback. There you go. Come on. Great pull by 53. Let's look at the right guard. Does a great job of getting around in there. Great down by the left tackle, left guard. Let's go ahead and pause that. I want to show you these guys. Tight end, left tackle, left guard. Look at what these guys do. All right. These guys do a great job of sealing this thing down and basically giving this alley, okay, creating that alley by sealing everything down. That's a great job. Kick out by a guy. I would like to see a little bit more on that lead block, but not every player is going to get that touchdown. But what I'd like to see is that consistency and understanding how our technique has to improve every play. It has to be consistent. All right, great pass pro, make the throw. All right. Whenever I say that, it's like, okay, kid, we giving you no excuse. All right. We can't say we got a pressure. Can't say you didn't do it, but man, let's just put that on the money, Bryce. All right. What do I mean when I say great pass pro? Let's look at the pass pro. All right. Look at it. Look at that pocket bunched up in there. Look at the vision. Look at the vision on the linebackers. Okay. Even they say, okay, hey man, that's not going to work. All right. So look at that. That is textbook blocking, pocket passing. Let's go ahead and make that throw, kid. All right. I'm not going to get too tough on this freshman quarterback, but we got the big house. We got the game coming up, and all of these things are just preparation for us to get to the position where, we really make a go of it. All right. If anybody's scouting our tape, the one thing they know is we do not pass twist well. All right. And here's what you have. Here's what I mean when I say we don't pass twist well. This is a simple linebacker dog, okay, where linebacker's going to split that, and the DN is going to make a move inside, clearing that way for both linebackers to be off on the edge. Well, okay, this is when I say number 54 did a great job. Watch this kid here, all right? I'm going to try and highlight this because I want you to see how he flattens this defender, okay? He flattens this defender into this direction, all right? And anytime you can flatten this defender with this direction, I'm going to play that slow motion. Now you can get back and have your vision for this guy, okay? Great. Come on, running back. Come on, you got to not lunge for him. Let's look at the running back here, all right? We can't have this lunge, all right? We got to stay shoulders, feet shoulders width apart. All right. So we passed that. I would say that's a C level pass. All right. C minus on the pass pro, but nonetheless, Bryce, hey, hitch up and throw it right here. Be right here when you throw it. Okay. Every play, every pocket's not going to be perfect. Pulls it down, makes it scramble, picks up the first down. But when I got quarterbacks running and on the ground, it is usually just a number of plays before he's getting up gimp. He's getting up with a little limp. Okay. So I like to see a quarterback keep a clean uniform and stay on his feet. Let's check this line of scrimmage out here. This is a bad line of scrimmage. My wife just walked in. Let's see here. Line of scrimmage. Let's go back. Okay. All right, bad line of scrimmage. And when I say bad line of scrimmage, I'm going to highlight where the play starts, which both teams are obviously on each side of the line of scrimmage, and where the play goes after the first two steps. And you can see here, 1, 2, 3, let's see. We got three offensive linemen. That are behind the line of scrimmage. Okay, and that's just something we can't have, guys. All right, so when they push that line of scrimmage back, what you essentially see is a running back that has to make the cut in the backfield. Okay, anytime the running back's got to cut or make an adjustment to his run out or his run angle in the backfield, that's not a good thing. All right. Poor scheme execution. This is one of those plays where I'm asking, okay, how do we leave, with a right-handed quarterback, how do we leave, what scheme do we have? All right. And this may very well be a missed assignment. All right. And I gotta think that the coaches are either telling this guy, they're telling this quarterback, okay, here's your hot read. If he comes, you're responsible for him. But that would typically result in wanting the quarterback's vision to be somewhere in this direction with whatever routes he's got to throw so he can face this hot read. Well, if he doesn't have a hot read, okay, then there has to be somebody that picks this guy up backside. All right, again, and I'm sorry I pointed out this guy, but there's got to be somebody that picks this guy up. All right, quarterbacks don't live too long leaving their blind side unaccounted for. All right. And again, makes a errant throw. The throw doesn't get there. So you got to look at all these things as factors that weigh into the consistency of not just execution, but the consistency of having your quarterback with the confidence in his protection. And again, it takes me to that led right into my next statement or my next play review notes, no confidence in pass pro. And when your quarterback's a little happy feet, and this may take an off season and a little bit more maturity by this offensive line to get to that point. But if your quarterback, displays no confidence, it's one of those things where, hey, he's seen this come a number of times. All right. He's seen this come a number of times. I don't think he's going to trust it to sit there in the pocket and say, well, let me make the throw. No, he's pulling down the ball. He's pulling down the ball right now. He's scrambling right now. All right. So, and again, poor throw, scrambling, probably in one of those situations where he's a little frayed with what's going on, but nonetheless, he's got to make the throw. Got to make the throw. All right, here's some good pocket work. All right, and this is what I mean when I say we have to be consistent. Okay, we have to be consistent in what we're doing. All right, so look at that. Look at the pocket. This is what he has to learn. He's got to have those steely nerves. He's got to learn under fire that, man, I have to trust it. Even if I get rocked a couple times, I got to stay in this sweet spot to make the throw in the best angle, off his front foot, complete the ball. Now, let's see if he makes the throw. All right. Nope. Doesn't make the throw. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna let a couple of plays run here. All right. Great effort by the running back. Oh, scramble. Come on, scramble. Right now, this game, at 7-7, with 30 seconds left in the, we should be locking this down. And here's what I mean when I say once your quarterback doesn't trust, has had enough situations where he's been shell-shocked or he's been made to have happy feet. Here's a perfect example of a pocket that really says, stand there and throw it. All right. Everybody's in position, but he's just had so much experience in the first half of this game where guys have come free. I don't think he even hesitated for a second to make the throw before he said, I'm running. And again, I want to tell you, these hits on the quarterback, these quarterback hits, all right, are not something you want guys consistently taking in the Big Ten. All right. I've seen it 1,000 times. I called it out when Denard Robinson was running like a banshee all over the place. I said, hey, he's a great guy. He runs the ball, but he's in one of those situations where, he did get hurt because it's the Big Ten. Even our running backs who are muscled up experts in running the ball, all right? They're short, stocky, strong. Most of them bench 500-600 pounds. Well, running backs get hurt. In fact, we got a running back out with a foot injury, foot surgery. So there's no question that we don't want Bryce being that guy that's toting the ball if he doesn't have to. All right. Let's go through a few more plays. Again, too much penetration there. Too much penetration. Another hit on the quarterback. I hate being negative. I don't want to seem like I'm negative with these guys, but, in my experience, these are the plays. These are the situations that lead to inconsistent trust, to a confidence that says, hey, he makes a great throw and catch, but we've seen that consistently come up short in this game as opposed to a completion. All right, good line of scrimmage push. All right, I give you guys an example of, poor push where, once the snap of the ball is commenced, where these guys are in this backfield. Now let's look where these guys are now, and let's see where it goes from now. All right, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hats across the line of scrimmage, and the running back is still 4 yards from the line of scrimmage. This is great work. This shows that they can do it, all right? They can do it, but we just got to be able to do it more consistently, all right? All right. Somebody should have picked up that safety, but nonetheless, because we got a good push, that running back is making his cut in the line of scrimmage and not behind the line of scrimmage. All right, let's see what we do here. Oh, great. Look at this. Let's get the tight zone copy. All right, let's look at, there you go. Come on, let's play ball, kids. Let's play ball up here. Ooh, that's not good, guys. All right. What am I seeing here? I'm seeing poor pass block, or poor blocking scheme. Not even a scheme, but just the ability to front these guys up. All right. One of the things I knew, when I was playing ball and you had guys like Derek Alexander who ran a 4.2 40 and some of the best wide receivers I've seen, even from Amani Toomer, these guys could block. And what I'm seeing here is just too many whiffs, too much head down, not a solid position to get in position to make this block. And our ball carrier pays for it. All right. Number 6 completely whiffs on that block. And now you're in a situation where, hey, what do you do after that? All right. Look at this. This is no bueno, guys. No bueno, guys. All right. Next play. The very next play. It's 3rd and 13? 2nd and 13? Very next play. Right? No vision on the running back. Why are we looking back here? All right, let's watch 51's vision. He comes out, and this is one of those plays where I say, hey, man, instead of us staying on this double team, instead of letting us split this double team where now he's off of that double team and this guy has a straight shot, he's got vision, all right? We come off the double team with no vision on the front side linebacker. I'm almost positive that this play did not start with the center having the backside linebacker responsibility. But where your vision is where your body and your mind is also, all right? And guys, this just has to improve, okay? This has to improve. This was 21-16 blocking against Purdue. This will be scary to think what we will do if we play against Ohio State like this. All right. That kid's got he's got some serious things to work on. Okay, let's move to the next play. We're wrapping this up. This ought to be done pretty soon here. All right, center, let's get down here. Let's see. All right, come on, center. Let's show me what you're working with. All right, there's a center. Come on. This is what I mean this is what I'm talking about when I say this type of thing is where quarterbacks get iffy. Short throws it, probably sees that, errant throw. 14-10. We're in the 3rd quarter. We've only crossed that goal line twice. All right, let's see back here. Let's take a look at this. It's because it's not offensive line, but it's blocking, and I'm sorry, but we gotta get more production here. Okay, we gotta get more production there. Gotta get more. Little flea flicker. Work, sustain, play action in the back. Okay, secure the ball. And again, I'm sorry, but Bryce is not a running back. Okay, he is not a running back. These are things that running backs probably get hit, they get banged around and practice 100 times a day. So they're very used to protecting that ball under contact. But when you got to run, I'm almost positive, okay? Let me look at the camera when I say this. I'm pretty positive that Bryce gets hit in the game way more than he does in practice, okay? I'm pretty sure they are not hitting Bryce in practice, which now you see the reality of once you get in a game and you get real hits with real intentions to really put you out, okay? Even if it's not a good hit, they're gonna dislodge that ball, all right? Good line of scrimmage, Next play, good line of scrimmage by the offensive line, but the center. Come on, center. Come on. Look at this line of scrimmage. If this guy can drive you in the backfield like this is one of those things where minus. I'll leave it at that. Minus. Got to get better. Okay, got to get better, guys. Great run. Great finish by the running back. I'd also like to see more offensive line down this way. All right, just a pet peeve of mine. I can hear Les Miles in my ear. No effort. Okay, better effort, I should say. Let's give better effort. All right, what do we have here? These are the questions I have. Are we blocking these guys, right? Okay, this should be a double team up to this guy, double team up to this guy. And who is blocking this guy? Well, I'm going to run this slow motion there so you can see nobody picks up any one of these linebackers. All right, we got one guy engaged. He's just now figuring it out. He's late. All right, he's figuring it out. Let's just figure this thing out here. Scramble, not good. All right, you leave a guy off the edge and he's in the quarterback's face. We have to be able to chip block this or come up with a better scheme. All right, because we've already got him running and scrambling when he's not supposed to. Let's look at what he's supposed to do when he is. Okay. Let's see here. All right, we got a touchdown. Let's review that touchdown. Let's check this out. Let's play, guys. I'm gonna let this run out here because I think we've seen enough where even some of these late runs are good, but we just got to be more consistent up front. Okay, I know we got a freshman line. I know we got 3 out of 5 guys are freshmen. A lot of inexperienced freshman quarterback, and wide receivers that obviously need a little bit more. I wouldn't say a little bit more. I think they need a total baptism in blocking. But I know Soup is going to get those guys more consistent over time. But my overall take of this game is that we have to be consistent. We do the things right, but we just don't do them consistently. What I'm looking for is to see the consistency of our performance, the consistency of our execution, and the consistency of our technique, both in run and pass. All right, that's it.
If you like this kind of content, please like, share, follow, and subscribe. And as always, go blue.